The power of play. The power of play. This month, our theme is play. And I thought it was so much fun when I started doing all the research for the talk and had no idea how incredibly powerful play can be. You know, you look at what's going on in the world right now, and it's just so heavy, isn't it? Aren't you sitting around going, come on, could you give us a break, right, with everything that's going on? And so this idea of play, it's like, well, wait a minute, that seems kind of not on track with what we should be thinking about, and yet my research with everything that I realized is, yeah, that's exactly what we should be doing right now, is that we should be incorporating this thought or idea of play into our lives, not only for our own benefit, but for also everyone around us as well. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time today talking about this idea of play, because in my mind, I really believe this, that God wants to have a good time. God likes to party, like a lot, in my experience. And so that thought and that idea, what my observation has been as I continue to age and get older, is that if we're not really careful, we lose that. And it's such a shame because it is so incredibly powerful for you to always have that incredible, lively, enthusiastic, fun-loving inner child that just wants to come out and play and dance and have a good time. There are so many benefits to this thing called play. It's amazing. Did you know there's something called the Institute of Play? That's mind-blowing to me. I had no idea. Guess what? Now I know. It's cool. An entire institute dedicated to it. Why? Because they realize how powerful play is. And so I just want to share some thoughts with you this morning. I'm going to reference an article that was written by Dr. Michael Rocque, which is called Why You Need More Fun in Your Life. It was written in December of 2016, and it starts off by saying, most of us want to have more fun. It just seems like it's not easy as it used to be. The reasons are many. Guilt, because others aren't having fun. Perceived inappropriateness, because others around us cannot have fun. Or lack of time, because our commitments to others won't let us have fun. Yet science gives an encouraging nod that we need to make time for fun and should perhaps prioritize it. In other words, make it a priority in your life. Since the term fun can be ambiguous and is often used in different contexts, let us first look at the standard definition of the word. Oxford Dictionary of Current English defines fun as amusement, especially lively or playful. Staying true to the definition, we generally connect word fun to things that are entertaining and enjoyable to do. Fun is also sometimes used and interchangeable with play. Although there is a distinction, and some argue that play is a state of mind, a certain attitude we can incorporate into any and every activity. So, why do we want to play? This article goes to talk about, number one, having more fun improves your relationships both at work and in life. How many people want to improve their relationships? Just a little show of hand. I don't care how good the relationship is. You can always make it a little bit better, right? You can always have a little bit more fun. Anybody familiar with John and Julie Gottman, the Gottman Institute? Some people know who they are. They're an amazing couple and do amazing work. They're out of Seattle. And what they've been studying happy and unhappy couples and the patterns of behavior in systematic ways. And what they found is that couples who are happy know how to have fun together. They genuinely know how to have fun together. It appears that when we have the ability to create and partake in acts of humor and affection, our conflict resolution skills improve as well. So, fun, relationships, bottom line, it helps them. So have fun or incorporate more fun into your relationship. How many people thought that having fun would make you smarter? That's one of the benefits of having fun. Play. According to science, one way to improve our memory and concentration is to have more fun. Partially, this has to do with the stress reduction that happens when we engage in something we enjoy. However, the benefits of fun activities seem to stretch further than that. The British cohort study, a study that's been following 17,000 people born in 1970, long study, found that reading for fun improves our language skills and, more surprisingly, our proficiency in math as well. It appears that fun activities that introduce us to new ideas and concepts foster self-directed learning. Now, I don't know about you, but one of the funnest things I do, it sounds kind of nerdy, is I love to learn. Nothing is more exciting to me when I get when I get my credit on Audible. Anybody here an Audible fan? I love Audible. I love listening to books. I love to learn. Nothing is more exciting to me than when all of a sudden I realize I got 2 more credits coming up for the month and I get to learn something. I love learning. Absolutely am passionate about it. And I just think it's so much fun to do it. So, fun makes us smarter. What else does fun do? It reduces stress. How many people would like to have a little bit less stress in their life, right? I think we can all sign up for that one. According to the one study, individuals who laughed less had more negative emotions when compared to those who laughed more. In contrast, those who laughed more showed fewer negative feelings even when stressful situations increased. Just by a little bit of laughter, just by having a little bit of fun, just by thinking to yourself, wow, what would it be like if I actually were to have a little bit of fun with this thing? Could possibly add a little bit of relaxation and reduce the stress in the situation, right? Finding more fun in physical activity balances your hormone levels. In other words, adaptation is not reliant on intense physical activity, but rather consistent recreational exercise. When it comes to exercise, find what fun means to you and bake it into your routine. How many people have a regular exercise routine? Show of hands. How many people actually make it fun? You know, often, because of what I do, everybody knows I'm a runner and I do it a lot, right? But I actually love to do it. It's a part of who and what I am, and I'm passionate about running. And often what happens, people will look at me and go, I can't do that. I can't do it. And I say, don't. It's really simple, don't. But what I would suggest is find something that you enjoy. I was talking to some friends the other day, and the guy said, I can never do what you would do, but I love to chase a ball. And for him, chasing a ball meant he loved playing basketball. So what does he do for his exercise? He plays basketball every couple of days with some friends, and they go out and do that. I don't care what it is. Just go do something. Maybe you like to go for a walk in the park. Maybe you like to go for hikes. Maybe you like to go take your dog for a walk. Whatever it is, make it fun. Because you know what? If it's fun, chances are you're going to stick with it and you'll keep doing it, right? And that's the key. That's what that's just saying. It's the consistency of doing it. But when we think about, I got to go to the gym, I got to do this, I got to do that, whoop, 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 right? And that's what happens, is we don't make it fun. So make whatever you're doing when it comes to your exercise a little bit of fun. And finally, and I think, honestly, this is probably the most important one of all, is fun can make you more energetic and youthful. Stress is draining. It can suck the life out of us, making us tired and cranky. When we effectively reduce our stress levels, this can often provide us with a new boost of vitality. Having fun and playing have traditionally been connected with children in the early years of our development. I'm going to read that again and pay attention to what's missing with this sentence. Having fun and playing have traditionally been connected with children in the early years of our development. Yeah. Did you guys get that? Did you see what's not being put into that sentence? Yeah, it's called us. It's called adults. It's called when we get older. Why is it that so many of us forget to put play and make it an important part of our lives? Why do we do that, right? So I came up with a little saying that my hope is you'll take with you. A little fun keeps you young, right? Remember the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? That one kind of lasted for a long time. My hope is a little fun keeps you young. A little fun keeps you young. A little fun keeps you young. Maybe you'll make a 3x5 card and hang it up on the wall and remind yourself to go out and have a little bit of fun. Some other people talked about it. This is by far my favorite quote. George Bernard Shaw, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Ouch. Ouch. Einstein, play is the highest form of research. Creativity is intelligence having fun. How cool is that? Einstein had such a playful attitude in everything that he did. If you study his life, if you read about him, he was extremely playful. He had fun. Plato, let this one sink in. You can discover more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. Think about that. Think about that. From the National Institute of Play, play is a gateway to vitality. By its nature, it is uniquely and intrinsically rewarding. It generates optimism, seeks out novelty, makes perseverance fun, leads to mastery, gives the immune system a bounce, fosters empathy, and promotes a sense of belonging and community. Wow. Play does all of that? Wow. The World Health Organization, to grow up healthy, a child needs to sit less and play more. I think we need to sit less and play more, right? So here's my question to you. Are you still playing? Are you still playing? And when I say playing, understand something. Sometimes what happens is we take this thought of play and now it becomes work. Now it becomes not so much, and all of a sudden it becomes work. One of the examples I have is I love to golf, right? And there was a time when I was passionate about playing the game, very passionate. But it got to the point to where all of a sudden the score became more important to me than me having fun. And all of a sudden the game didn't go from being play, it changed all of a sudden, and I started to lose the joy out of playing the game. And so we have to be careful of that. So when I talk about play, I mean genuine play. I mean, oh my God, this is going to be fun play. That kind of play is what I'm asking you about in terms of, do you still play? Is there something that you're doing in your life right now that you can think of like there's that little kid inside of you that comes out and goes, oh my God, I want to go have fun. I can't wait to do this. You know what that is for me sometimes, honestly? Going to get an ice cream cone. Seriously, for real. That's like my little kid wants to go have ice cream cones, and it's fun. I grab my wife, we make a party out of it. We have a great time. It's just an ice cream cone. It's something so simple, and yet with that attitude of play, it changes the entire experience. Everything changes when all of a sudden you can go, wow, you mean I could just add play into this thing? And all of a sudden, if you pay attention energetically, what happens to you is you switch. And it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. This is really fun. It changes everything. So I have a story I want to share with you, speaking of play. This happened back in 1993, and it's when I was in the YOU group here. Just after that, the group used to be called the Young Adults of Unity, and we had a conference planned out in Colorado for the summer. And so we went out there, and my friend and I decided to play a little game, and the little game was called this. Can you believe how much God is in, and fill in the blank? Can you believe how much God is in, I don't know, Gregory? Look at all that God. That's amazing how much God is in Gregory. We would sit down, and this, I'm telling you, we had so much fun with this game, it became fire at the conference. People would sit around, and we would sit down there, and I'll never forget one time, we made this obnoxious cheeseburger. And I was like, can you see the God in this cheeseburger? And people were just amazed, and we were having fun. We were just having fun and a good time, right? Well, at that conference, Alan Cohen, anybody know Alan Cohen? He writes all the time. He's been around for a long time. He's an amazing teacher, a beautiful human being. Alan Cohen was there. And one night we were sitting around at dinner, and all of a sudden, because now everybody at the conference knows that my friend and I are having a lot of fun with this God thing and would get a kick out of it, so what they started to do is they started to bring stuff to us and watch us freak out about this God thing, right? And all of a sudden, somebody came up and gave me a chocolate chip cookie. Now, that chocolate chip cookie wasn't just a normal chocolate chip cookie. Oh, no. It was some Pepperidge Farm Sausalito macadamia nut chocolate chip cookies. Have you ever had one of those? Oh, my God. If you haven't, walk out this door, leave your house when I'm done, and go get one. They are absolutely amazing. And, of course, I took it in my hand, and I ate it, and I was like, oh, look how much God is in this chocolate chip cookie. Well, Alan Cohen was sitting by us, and he was watching this, and he was paying attention. I didn't really know it at the time, right? So the next morning, I get up, and I go to walk out my door, and I look down, and there's a bag of these Sausalito chip cookies. And Alan said, I thought if one made you happy, this might even add a little bit more joy to your day. And it was a beautiful gift, and it was a beautiful gesture from Alan Cohen, right? I don't think anything more of it, nothing. A few months later, I get a phone call from my friend that says, hey, do you know Alan just wrote a new book? And I said, no. And they say, yeah, you're probably going to want to get the book. And I said, really? They said, go get the book, Mike, like now. Don't mess around. Go get the book right now. Okay. So I get the book, and I'm reading it. And all of a sudden, here's the book, Dare to Be Yourself. And all of a sudden, I'm going to read you a story. The story is called The God in Chocolate. Once on my way to a retreat, I bought some chocolate chip cookies. I rarely buy these delicacies, but I found myself in the grocery store passing the Pepperidge Farm treats. I heard a voice say, buy me. Who am I to argue with God? Later that day, I met a very enthusiastic fellow. Instantly, I recognized Mike to be a delightful soul. He found everything exciting. He went wild over the accommodations at the retreat, which were fairly simple. He was in ecstasy about the program, and he discovered something miraculous in just about everything. One evening, I was relaxing in the lounge with Mike and some friends. Someone gave Mike the last chocolate chip cookie in their bag. Mike took one bite and nearly went through the ceiling. His eyes opened like saucers. His hair seemed to stand on end. Wow, he exclaimed. This is so excellent. These chocolate chip cookies are loaded with God. That was the first time I ever heard chocolate chips linked with the divine so authoritatively. Most of the time when I have seen people eat chocolate, they do it with an almost ritualistic apology. Well, just one, or I'll jog tomorrow, or I'll have to wash my face extra careful tonight so I don't get zits. But Mike did not sprinkle his chocolate with guilt. He blessed it as a sacrament. Immediately, my mind flashed to the package of cookies in my room. If Mike got such a thrill out of one cookie, a whole package would probably send him to the moon. I got the cookies and gave them to Mike. He practically fell onto his knees. He thanked me as if I'd just given him a lifetime pass to Disneyland. It was clear that the world was a happier place that evening. Later that night, when I was alone, I began to reflect on my process of giving Mike the cookies. The element that stimulated me to do so was his voice-first expression of appreciation for the one cookie he had received. He made a clear and joyful public pronouncement of his delight in that one little favor. If he had just politely smiled or made an apologetic statement, I would never have thought about offering him some more. His appreciation invited the universe to increase his supply of the object of his delight, and I was honored to be the delivery boy. How cool is that? Yeah. Just by having a little bit of fun, a little bit of joy, and to decide to bring joy into pretty much, or happiness, or play into everything that we do, right? I believe that God created play, and I believe that God likes to have fun. I really, really, really do believe that. After all, this is one of the statements Jesus said, assuredly, I say to you, unless you change and become as a child, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, there's a lot of interpretations to that, but in my opinion, The reason he said that is because children are always, always, always playful, right? So I just want to go back to the one quote that I mentioned earlier, and that's this idea that play is a state of mind. It's a state of mind. And that to me is so powerful because it's like, wow, really, we can bring this into whatever it is that we're doing. It's a certain attitude that we can incorporate into any and every activity. When I read that, all of a sudden it was like, wow, do I really think about everything that I'm doing? If I want to, I can incorporate play into it? Can I really? And ever since I've been preparing for this talk, I've been doing that, and I'm telling you, energetically, the shift for me when I'm wanting to do things is incredible to me. And I really want you guys to consider thinking about that. Whenever you go to do something, am I incorporating play into it? And even if you don't know how to do that, it's okay. Just go there with the attitude of, what if I could throw some play into this thing? What it would look like? Because I'm telling you, energetically, when you do that, all of a sudden you're opening yourself up to the possibility of doing something and inviting something in that you never thought of before. And you're giving yourself the opportunity to have that experience, whereas if you don't do it, you never have that opportunity. Right? So I just want you to think about something. How do I bring play into this? You know, my wife and I are in the process of considering buying some property. So the other day we go get some coffee and some scones somewhere, and all of a sudden my wife looks over to me and she goes, "You want to go on an adventure?" And I'm like, "An adventure?" She goes, "Yeah, let's go look at some property." So the next thing I know is that this is like 7:30 in the morning. I thought I'm going to be sitting behind my desk for the next 3 or 4 hours doing some work. And the next thing you know, I'm in the middle of Lowell, and I'm just telling you right now, I have no idea on God's green earth where I am. I mean, we are in the back 40 where there's a river, there's something else, there's this going on, there's that going on. I've never even seen this part of the world. And it was magical. Just because she said, "Do you want to go on a little adventure?" It took something from being so mundane, so simple, and made it fun. It made it fun. You can really do this. You can really add play into anything. So, having said that, how many people would like to join me on a little adventure for the next 30 days? 30 days? A little fun? All right. How many people have ever heard of this book, E Squared? I was talking with a Unity minister about 6 months ago, and I was telling her, wouldn't it be cool if you could kind of test God? Pretty interesting question, isn't it? But think about that. What if you could actually do some things to not necessarily test God? So maybe that's not exactly the appropriate language to use, but what if you could do some things that you could show yourself that you are connected to something bigger than yourself? In other words, you are connected to this thing out there, and energetically, this thing, whatever you want to call it, pays attention to you, but we usually don't really think about it that way. So I guess there was this little scientist in me that was going like, prove it. How many people have been there? Right? We all do. We all do. Well, this book is really fun. It's really fun. Here's what it does. It's 9 do-it-yourself experiments, energy experiments, that prove your thoughts create your reality. Really? Yeah. And it's cool because each one of them is only a day or two. It's not like we're sitting here for the next 2 years to figure out if this works or not. You're going to do some little things, and you're going to play with energy in the universe, and you're going to see if the universe responds. You're going to see if the universe actually pays attention to you. You can do that? Yeah. So for the next 30 days, now I'm going to be a little bit of a spoiler alert. I'm going to tell you about the first experiment I did on this book, and it was pretty fun. The first one, it says, ask the universe to bring you a gift. And you get very specific. The instructions are in there. So I told the universe, bring me something. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to get real specific, but bring me something. I gave it a time, I gave it a date, and I said, by such and such time, I want this gift. So I tell my wife about it, right? And she's laughing at me. She's like, come on, really? And I'm like, yeah, really. Here's the funny part. I was getting ready to go out for a run, and so all of a sudden, I go to walk out the door, and I just got done telling her this, and she's just got done laughing at me, right? I walk out on the front door, I look, and in our mailbox, and I'm not kidding you, there's a box. It's not an Amazon box either. It's a box. So I go out to the front and I grab it, and it says to Mike Rocque, and I'm like, what is that? And I go walking back inside. Of course, now I'm excited, right? I open it up, and actually what it is a coworker of mine sent me a really, really nice little gift, and it contained a coffee mug, some different things. It was just a really, really sweet gift, right? It worked. It was amazing, and I had fun with it. So, if you want to join me, get the book, E Squared. You can get it on Amazon. Remember, use Amazon Smile, and have fun. Listen, don't make it serious. Don't make it intense. Make it light. Make it fun. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Make it fun, right? So, I'm going to leave with you a couple of thoughts. This idea of creating habits for play. What can we do to create some habits for play? Number one, make a list of things that you're currently doing for fun. Yeah, make a list. So in case you get bored and you can't think of anything, you can go back to your list, right? How about continue to add to your list? If you don't have very many things on your list, why don't you think about adding some things to your list? And again, make it fun. Make it playful. Let that little kid inside of you come out and go, yay, I want to have fun. Try to have at least a little play in every single day. I don't care if you just go outside and just swing your arms in the air. I don't care. Make it fun. Make it fun. Once a day, do something that puts joy into your heart, joy into your soul. Create ways to have fun with your friends and your family. Of course, bring other people into it. It makes it much more fun. Go tap somebody on the shoulder and say, want to go on an adventure? And watch what their eyes do, even if you have no idea what the adventure is going to be. Finally, make play a regular habit. Make play a regular habit, right? So in leaving this morning with you, I just want to, one last thing, this idea of remember the saying, a little fun keeps you young. And I want to share a poem called that exact thing with you. A Little Fun Keeps You Young by Maggie Galtiano. A little fun keeps you young. A little laughter keeps you bright. When you get to the age when a midlife crisis looms, get out and act like a kid again. Don't worry what the neighbors might say. They're probably crazy anyway. Change your hair color, grow it long. Change your style and wear a thong. That will put some spring in your step or goose yourself and give you some prep. Don't worry what the neighbors might say. They're probably crazy anyways. Dance till the wee hours in the morning. Let loose, but don't get lost in the spring. Smile even if there's nobody around. Run until you're nowhere to be found. Don't worry what the neighbors might say. You are more than crazy than they are anyway. So as you leave here, my hope and prayer for you is just know that there is still that little kid inside of you that wants to have fun, that wants to play for no rhyme, no reason, other than just to genuinely play. Don't ever, ever forget that. Remember, a little fun keeps you young. Thank you, and God bless.